I completely believe in accidents, such as myself. I also believe in, accidents as in falling asleep while jerking off, nodding off while playing Warzone with your buddies from drinking too much, them yelling at you and finally calling you, and then finding out you passed out and kicking you from the team. Shit happens. But I have to say, the wildest accident that didn't happen, thank God, was blowing up a city street, basically. Now, that's probably a little dramatic. But yeah, while I had to have my lines tended to, I had bought this house many years ago, and it's rather old. The water line even older, and the problem with it is they use some real cheap water lines. The water line themselves is complete absolute ass, and I am very pissed that they even used them. Needless to say, patching the pipe is getting very annoying. Digging up pipelines over and over just to patch a 6-inch deep water line where it will probably freeze again just became too much of a hassle. So I got my water bill in, and it looked like it was rather high, a little steep. Like, no, we're not doing this again. So I called a contractor. It's a buddy of mine who is a licensed contractor. And I said, you know what? Hey, man, I'm done with it. I would like to get my water line fixed. And instead of just fixed, put a new one in. I'm done. I want new everything, all the way up to the tie into the house. Because I so far haven't had issues under the house. So with what comes with that, digging in your yard is not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you're not digging with any heavy equipment. You dig with heavy equipment, you gotta call a number. Now you call the number and they will let you know, hey, this is where you don't dig. The reason for that is pretty much if you use a shovel, you're not really gonna bust a line mostly. Especially if you're just looking for a small water leak. Now, still usually call and at least, get an understanding. Here's the fun part. While digging for the patch that I needed to do on my water line, I ran across a metal line. And it would remind you of like those metal, those cross rope, metal ropes basically. It's just one thin piece of it or a few pieces. And it's just big enough to confuse the shit out of you. For people that don't know, that is a do not fuck with it line. Well, I found out that apparently my gas line also ran with my water line. They may have actually ran the fucking water line down the gas line area to save on money, which was stupid. All it did was put a water line too high above the frost level. Because when I say 6 inches, I'm being pretty polite. So I called my contractor, said, hey, built too high, need new lines. I'm done, run it up to the tie-in of the house. Call it a day. Now I get my quotes about where I need it to be, especially with this, day and age and prices being stupid. And after I got done bending over and getting the whole goat see that I had to look at, and pretty much his buddy just rear-ending me as hard as he could, we got the call for people, or they gave the call for somebody to come out and, survey my area to make sure where the phone lines were, some kind of, I think it was internet, fiber line, something like that, and gas. Basically, that's what they were going to look. Well, I go outside and I see they finally tagged everything. I'm like, oh, well, here's some flags. I look and the flags are yellow. And when I see it, I'm like, well, that follows the water line. I didn't know the water line ran that way. That's weird. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Because what made it worse, we had a burn pile in the backyard. Why the gas line goes that far out, I don't know why. But apparently, we've been burning on top of a gas line. Luckily, I don't have any leaks, and I'm pretty sure it's a little deeper there. But we only burned there to get the ash and some of the dirt to kind of rest and kind of flat it out a little bit. And then I was going to move on to another section. It's just something some yard people do. I kind of caught on, and you just kind of let it build up from there. And yeah, that is dangerous. I feel like a moron. Because when I was looking, obviously I went out and saw the flags. I was like, oh, okay, I have a ditch where I've had this water leak, and to keep me from mowing it, I dug it out to wait to get it completely redone right there. Finally, I just got fed up and had somebody else do it for me, so they dug it in a new line anyway. So, obviously, I'm going to have to bury that. But it made me realize that I thought it was the water line, even though it shouldn't have been able to be read because it wasn't any type of metal or readable material. I look and see the surveyors marked it with a flag, and I'm thinking it's my water line. So my contractor comes back out after doing the new lines, and he come to tell me, hey, just double checking, make sure everything's good. Like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Water pressure's perfect. Hey, no more clicking on the meter, and it looks like everything's good. He went, good. I was like, so what's the yellow flag? He said, yeah, that's gas. We need to move that burn pile. Yeah, I guess I am going to move that burn pile. I guess I'll go take it back where the old water well used to be, which has been seized off and completely welded shut. So now I don't get free water anyway. And pretty sure that welled water is probably pretty nasty anyway. It's one of those things where you live in the South and pretty much things just garbage built sometimes. And yeah, you live and you learn. Just letting you know, if you ever buy a house, please, for the love of God, get your gas line looked for. Don't be an idiot, like me, which I do a lot. Just letting you know, if you ever want to kind of be in the space program without being in the space program, just go ahead. Light you a fire over a gas line. See how long it takes for you to reach space. I can tell you this, not all of you are going to reach it. Some of you are going to reach over there. Some others are going to be over there. And part of you might make it up there. And you might make it to the moon, all right. But yeah, thank the Lord at this point that I did not blow up an entire town. I slightly, obviously, making more of a joke because I don't think that gas line would have done too much. It would have caught on fire, yeah, and probably been, shooting at the seams, but hopefully it wouldn't have blown up. A lot of the times, houses blow up because of gas buildup. And I don't think it would have really built up right there. I'm pretty sure it just came out, caught on fire, and been a real big nuisance. Hopefully they'd have a shutoff valve somewhere to shut the gas off to everybody so they could actually, hey, dummy, you fucked up and you got to replace this pipe. But yes, I don't have to worry about it now. I will be moving my burn pile because I have more things to burn anyway. But I think it's wild that just one little mistake that you don't know can just mess it all up. Most of everybody else, I believe, on my street has their water line on one side and gas on the other. Keeps from being crossed over. Obviously, this time, that did not happen, and it was weird. It's basically gas line runs on the outer ring, which is almost in my neighbor's yard, and then comes around wide, while my water line goes inward. Which I guess what happened, from what I understand, like I said, somebody was saving a buck, and when they dug up the ground, they decided they would save some money and go ahead and drop the water line, as much of it in that area as they could. But now it's not my problem anymore. I have a new line, and I don't have to worry about any of that. Future repairs will be on somewhere else, and just to let you know, they are expensive. And they hurt my heart, my bank, and definitely make my contractor probably super happy. So yeah, life kind of hits you sometimes, but it's taken care of, and now my water bill should return to normal. The only thing I need to worry about now is probably getting the gasket on. Hopefully no leaks. Because here soon it's going to get really cold here. It's gotten cold enough to where I wear a jacket sometimes, but it's still roughly about 65 degrees in the house. It's holding pretty good. Even with it being 28 outside, I wake up still not too cold. I mean, sometimes my nipples get caught in the door when I'm trying to walk my fat ass through the house, but other than that, it's not too bad. Other than, pretty much take a nap with a cover on in the living room if I felt like just taking a nap. But yeah, I thought you'd find that interesting that I pretty much almost caught a fire out in my yard more than what I wanted. But that's what happens when you own a home and you're pretty stupid. That's me. I'm kind of dumb sometimes. But you live and you learn, and, there's two things that the Lord looks out for, as I would say, and that's old folks and fools. And believe me, I'm pretty foolish, and I will still continue to make mistakes. That's all I got to say about this. Hope you got a laugh out of it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know that daily content comes all the time. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.